Hello, Nuggets. I guess this is just more of a transparency, and um, I had to come to Jesus as I usually do, and me and my higher self have been in deep um, meditation and reflection. Um, and I intentionally made this a self-care weekend to, get some stuff together for myself, reconcile some things, and um, become resolved in the things that I need and want to do moving forward. And in doing so, having the talk with God and, getting closer in my walk and, correcting myself. I am, and hopefully in doing so, this helps somebody else, because that's all I really want to do is help somebody else and help them to make better choices for themselves. Um, at this time, it is a lot of um, familial things going on. Um, since the matriarchs of my family have transitioned, my family has really, 100% been in shambles. Like, we've been scattered to the winds. And I'm sure that's not just my family. I'm positive it's not. But the how my family is dealing with it is just um it's hilarious and it's heartbreaking and a lot of things, but what I wanted to talk about is coming to the understanding of my grandmother was the buffer of the family. She kept the quote unquote peace, but in all actuality, she really wasn't keeping peace. She was pacifying and putting a band aid over things and not, making people have the difficult conversations and um, telling people the truth about themselves and their actions. And she would allow things and just let things fester. And that's not something that I have ever been comfortable with, is just letting things slide. But I was taught, in order, to keep the peace, just let things be, let things go, let whoever is the loudest say whatever they're going to say, and then allow it to be, and then just be family after that. There's no accountability on anybody's part except for the person that's keeping quiet and keeping the peace or what have you. There's no accountability, so things just continue to fester. And what I realized is in something that uh, came up in a heated discussion with my mother a few weeks ago, is I distanced myself from my grandmother. And in the beginning, at first, I was very upset about it because I never distanced myself from my grandmother. Until recently, I thought about it, I did. And the reason I did so is because it's for the same reason that I have learned to distance myself from my mother. My grandmother allowed herself to be surrounded by chaos. She allowed herself to be surrounded by people who lied, deceived, and manipulated her, and she allowed it. And that's not who I am. I'm not going to be around someone who allows chaos and foolishness around them and they just sit in it and they do nothing about it. Now, you're going to either take an action towards getting rid of it, or you're going to sit in it and let it fester and let it continue and let it get worse. I'm not going to do that. So I did remove myself physically from a situation that I felt was chaotic and was really doing a number on my nervous system. So, in that sense, yes, I did not physically visit like I once did, because of the chaos my grandmother allowed to have around her. But I did not pull myself away in the sense that I didn't call her, I didn't talk to her. I called my grandmother every day, I talked to her every day. And towards the end of her life, she moved into my 1 bedroom apartment, she and my mother, because there was so much chaos going on in her home that she wasn't able to be cared for in her home. So she came and lived with me up until she needed to go into hospice. And when my grandmother passed, as and 6 months prior, about 6 or 8 months prior to that, my paternal grandmother passed away. So I'm still dealing with that, but then dealing with my maternal grandmother, who I am named after, transitioning, and then all of the chaos going on surrounding her transition and dealing with family and all of that. And in that, I now look back and say that my dealing with her passing and allowing myself to do whatever healing that I needed to do, I have pulled myself back from any form of chaos. I offer help and assistance, or just, to be around my family, birthdays or whatever. But as far as engrossing myself in their lives, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Because again, it was chaos for my grandmother and there was no peace. And so I don't want to deal with it. Because for one, people who choose to be in their chaos want to complain about it but still do nothing about it. So I can't, I'm not doing that. So I remove myself. And then when I remove myself to do what it is that is peaceful for me, I'm wrong, and I don't care about family and all this and that. And just recently I've been called a demon and all those things. So I am my way of healing and dealing with those things is creating my own boundary and making it to where my family doesn't need me. I don't ever want to be in a position again, because that is what I felt that I was in with my grandmother. I was in a position where she needed me, and it wasn't a choice. It wasn't a choice. She had backed herself into such a position with everybody else in the family where she didn't feel like she had peace in her own home. So she needed to go somewhere where she felt like she had peace. And that was my home. And for that part I am grateful. For that part I am grateful. I am grateful that she felt like she could be around me and be in peace. But again, in that, I did not know how to function for a very long time without my grandmother. And my remedy for that is to function without anybody. And as much as I love my family, I will not deal with their behaviors. I will not deal with their patterns towards me as far as lying and being manipulative and bullying and all that stuff. That to me, yeah, I understand that everybody and everything has its issues and its dysfunctions. However, when you have issues and dysfunctions, things that don't work, you heal them, you fix them, you change them, you do something to make them better. You don't sit in it. You don't continue to allow it. And my continuing to allow myself to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually bullied and abused is not what I'm going to do. So if me pulling myself away, because I am very much a mirror of what you give to me. If you give me peace, if you present to me peace, genuine peace within you as a person, and you present that and you live in that, you walk in that, that is what you present, that is your frequency, that is your baseline, then we can function, we can coexist, we can create, we can be friends, we can be in connection. But if your baseline is chaos and confusion, that's not where I'm at. And that's not what I'm going to deal with. I don't have to. I am taking the obligation off of anything that is dysfunctional for my nervous system, for my heart, for my peace. And I have the right to do that. And just because it hurts somebody else's feelings doesn't mean that I need to move in order to comfort them and make them feel better. That's something that is not just going on with me and my family. That's in any and all relationships that I have. And it's especially going for relationships that I choose to be in. The place where I work is my choice. The people I interact with on a day-to-day basis, that is my choice. And people are getting it confused. Just like I had to step back and take a look at that. I was getting it. People are not obligated to work with me, to like me, to converse. I hate converse. That is not a word. It might be now, but the word is converse. I choose who I give my time, energy, and respect to. We're going to add respect, because people get respect confused. People want you to, now don't, I respect humanity. I respect beings. I respect um your beingness. But as a person, I don't have to. As a person, I don't have to. And I say that because what you present to me is what you're going to get from me. So if you present your, and this is just basic respect, basic respect as a human being. If that's not something that you can present to me, why am I obligated to give it to you? That's a whole other kind of conversation that goes into um, society and racism and all that stuff. I'm not want to go there right now, but just being in the space of being respected as a human being and allowed to make whatever choices and decisions that I want to make for my life without being dehumanized or um, attacked, because I choose not to deal with other people's chaos and foolishness, their choices and decisions, and their karma, quite frankly. Because whatever you have coming is what you sowed into wherever you are. And I believe that wholeheartedly, which means me, whatever it is that's going on in my life is because of what I sowed into it. You get out what you put in. So there is that. And at this point, I am very much accepting of the consequences of my choices. I choose to withdraw myself from my family. Therefore, I don't have connections with those around me, with my loved ones. And it doesn't mean that I don't love them. It means that I love myself more and that I protect my peace so that when I am in a space of being able to connect with those I choose to connect with, I can give to them from a pure place and not feel like I am obligated to perform for them. I'm just giving to them because I choose to, and not from a place of let me go do this because of what it looks like to somebody else. And I don't care what it looks like. I do not care what it looks like. There has recently been it's been brought to my attention that there's a video from my sister um, on social media. I haven't listened to it. I don't intend to listen to it. And I don't intend to listen to it because she's not come to me. She's not talked to me. She's not apologized to me for her actions. So therefore, whatever is going on, it has nothing to do with me. And what's going on with her, does it hurt me? Does it affect me? Do I want to go and just hold my sister and tell her everything's going to be okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. But in order for me to be okay with doing that, and you can call it selfish, you can call it mean, I really don't care what you call it. I call it protecting myself and demanding the respect that I give to her and anybody else. If you cannot respect me, there's nothing we have to discuss. Nothing. And if I stand on these basic principles with family, with people I love, with the people who I share DNA with, a person out in the world has nothing coming from me when it comes to being disrespectful. And I see now the point of why men prefer to be respected than loved. And not all men, but it's a thing that I've seen, is where the whole nurturing thing, absolutely great. I appreciate it. But those are deeds and acts that can be done for somebody who's, you can get paid to perform. You can be paid to be a doctor or a nurse. You can be paid to do those things. But when it comes to respect, that is how a person shows up in your face. That is how they carry themselves. And if you don't carry yourself as a person who is respectful, how is it that you are a person that demands respect from other people? So, with that being said, I'm just in the space of being accountable and responsible for my thoughts, deeds, and actions as much as I am aware and consciously guided to do. But other than that, not I'm not kissing the ring. I'm not kissing no ass. I'm not bending over backwards. And the only thing that truly disturbs my beingness about this is being disconnected from my nieces and nephews and not being as close to them as I once was and as I would like to be. But again, I do what it is that I can do when it comes to being in connection with my nieces and nephews, but I cannot be around people who are in a constant state of chaos and disrespect. Not just disrespect for me, but disrespect for themselves. Again, allowing yourself to be around and in chaos, you are not being peaceful for yourself. You may be allowing somebody else to have peace and walking on eggshells for them. But that's not something I'm ever going to do again, ever in my life. So, in that, I am reconciled myself to dealing with the consequences that my choices have made. My choices have made me be like, okay, in order for you to have peace, you do this. And that is what I am doing. So, Nuggets, I am not in any way saying that you should take these courses of action. But I am saying that if you're still here, I hope that you choose you. I hope that you choose to be in a state of peace for you, no matter what it looks like to somebody else. Your peace may cause them chaos, and that's okay, because in that, they will either learn to regulate themselves or they will crash out. And either way, those are their choices and their consequences. I love you. I love you from my soul. And I send you all blessings and light. Take care.